So today we're going to be talking about the most asked questions I personally get for those of you that are PCSing, relocating, or just curious about what Mountain Home Idaho has to offer you. So let's go ahead and dive into the content. Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm your host, Naseem Eissa. If you don't know my story, I originally came here on military orders to Mountain Home Air Force Base. I served an entire 6-year enlistment and separated from the military, now helping you guys with your real estate needs. So as much as I love making these videos for you guys, I would also absolutely love to help you with your real estate needs. You're going to see my cell phone as well as my personal email pop up on the screen. Call me, text me, email me anytime. But more importantly, let's talk about why you're here today. So some of the things we're going to be covering is going to be the community in Mountain Home, the schools, what you can expect, and some good and bad of Mountain Home. So let's kick it off with, where is Mountain Home in correlation to Boise? Well, Mountain Home is about a 45 to 55 minute drive, more on the 45-minute side typically, for those of you that want to live in Mountain Home and just are curious about how far Boise is from you guys. So if you're not familiar with Boise, Boise is the capital city of the state of Idaho. It is also the big city of Idaho, but it's not big city to where it's like Los Angeles or anything like that. So you do have a city atmosphere nearby, and for most people that 45-minute drive goes by fairly quickly, so you won't have to worry about that. Now let's talk about Mountain Home specifically. Population wise, you're looking at less than 20,000 people, so it's more of a small town. There's not a lot of stuff going on. There's no crazy amount of crime going on or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about it. Truthfully, it's just a very quiet small town where you can literally just enjoy raising your family, raising yourself, maybe just the peace and isolation from, civilization as a whole, depending on where you live. It's just a very quiet town. So most people really love that. They really love the atmosphere as a whole. Some people hate that because they do want to go out on the weekends. They do want to go do things. But like I said earlier in the video, you do still have Boise, which is only less than an hour away. So what is Mountain Home like as a community as a whole? Well, Mountain Home, as I said, is very small town vibes, but they do throw events throughout the year, and they're really big as far as being a military town. They do a lot of Air Force associated things due to the fact that the Air Force Base literally is the reason why I think Mountain Home as a whole exists as a whole. It's supported so much by the base and everything that they do. So they do Air Force parades. They do a lot of events throughout the year. For example, they just did the Mountain Home parade for Christmas and the holidays. They also do a 4th of July show. So they have different things that they do to include, beer fest and everything that they do on the installation itself. So depending on if you're military or not, you probably will have a lot more doors open for you on the military side. But if you're not military, no need to worry, because you do still have a lot of things that they do as a town as a whole. So those are events that you can all keep up with through the Mountain Home website. Or if you guys have questions about specific events, let me know and I'll get those answers for you as well. Just drop them in the comments. Now, the next thing that I typically get asked is, what is housing like in Mountain Home? Well, housing overall is significantly cheaper than most areas in the Idaho area. So for Mountain Home specifically, the median price point right now is $375,000. There's about 100 listings on the market. If you really look at the math of that, you're looking at about 100 houses on the market, not including ones that are under contract. And there's not a lot of options as far as housing goes, but as long as you pay attention to the market and you know what you're looking for, then typically once the opportunity pops up, you're more than able to jump in on the opportunity. So on the real estate side of things, what I would love to do is show you guys some of the housing and what that looks like. All right, guys, so that's kind of what the houses look like. So you have all different types of options, but you don't really have condos or, skyscrapers or, high rises or nothing like that. Just small town. So you have a lot of single family homes. You have single family homes on land. You got single family homes that are new construction. You have a lot of residential income properties, meaning duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, and you do have, trailer parks and mobile homes. So outside of that, there's not too much variation as far as what the homes look like as a whole, but you do have tons of options for the most part, depending on what you're looking for in Mountain Home. And most people that don't find what they're looking for in Mountain Home tend to like to expand their search from Mountain Home to Boise, which actually takes us to the next question. So for those of you that are curious, hey, what does the weather look like in Mountain Home all year long? We heard there's 4 seasons, and yes, that is true. There is 4-season weather. So you do get a white powder winter typically, some worse than others, some better than others, to where it's not too bad. It's kind of a week of snow and then it's gone, or sometimes it's gonna be 2-3 weeks of snow and it might sit for a little bit. So it just really depends on the winter season. You do have a beautiful spring season, which typically has a lot of rain, a lot of bipolar weather from Idaho, just because Mother Nature decides to rain one day and then the next hour it's going to start, you know, being really sunny, and then all of a sudden we got snow. So there is a little awkward shift from that winter to spring, and sometimes even that fall to spring, or fall to winter, excuse me, as far as the weather goes. So really depending on what type of weather you like, just know you're going to get hit by all 4 seasons of different types of weather. Now, as far as the summers go, just before I move on to the next subject, summers do get pretty hot. You will see triple-digit weather every now and then, but it's not dry heat like Arizona or anything. It is just really humid, it's really hot, and you definitely feel it. Not as humid as, you know, the east side of the world, where, you know, Georgia, Tennessee, where you're literally dripping just by stepping outside, but it gets to that point where it's pretty hot outside. So you get the point. But ultimately, 4-season weather is what to expect. Now with that, some people also ask me, as far as, hey, maybe we want to, you know, maybe we're PCS in Mountain Home, but we want to live in Boise. What's that drive from Mountain Home to Boise like, you know, during the winters? Is it safe? Is it dangerous? So to answer that question, it can be very dangerous sometimes. However, they have gotten better and better and better over the years as far as keeping I-84 clean. I-84 being Interstate 84, which is where you'll be driving back and forth. They do have back roads, but I wouldn't recommend taking those during the winter season. Now, here's what you can expect. There is black ice. There is sometimes going to be snow on the interstate. Now, driving in the snow is very different. So if you haven't done it before, I highly, highly, highly recommend you don't just go out there and drive like you've been driving it your whole life. Take it slow, be very careful, and more importantly, don't make any fast turns. So if you're not familiar with driving in the snow, it can be dangerous. So I would just be very cautious as far as that goes. But they typically have a Facebook page that also keeps you updated with how the interstate goes. There's typically, you know, road closures, or if the base knows that the weather itself has affected the roads pretty bad, they are very lenient, typically, depending on who's in command, as far as giving you guys time to get to work. So they'll give you, you know, extended hours as far as being able to get to work, or they may just cancel or shut down the base as a whole due to road conditions. So it's just some things to think about. Now, the next question is, what is there to do to fun? Absolutely nothing. No, I'm just joking. Mountain Home does have things that you can do for fun, depending on what you like to do, right? If you're someone that enjoys going to the gym or just having a good bite, they do have a couple of gyms in this town, 3 specifically. Personal recommendation, Fitness Legends is absolutely amazing. They just opened up, and that's who a lot of people are going through right now. It's just a lot better of environment. The music's always playing. It's a great spot. Or if you're someone that has military access, you can go work out on base. They have a rock climbing wall in the gym. They have 24/7 access. They have multiple basketball courts available, or volleyball courts, depending on what you're into. They do have a swimming pool, but there's limitations on when you can use that, of course. And then they do have, you know, hot tubs and excuse me, not hot tubs, saunas. I'm thinking hot, but they do have saunas, and then locker rooms and all that good stuff. So for those of you that are fitness enthusiasts, or if you're just someone that likes to go on hikes, you can do that. They have an amazing hike next to Legacy Park, which is about 2.2 miles wide, or long, excuse me, so you can enjoy that. Or if you're someone that loves outdoors, there's plenty of areas. For example, the Sand Dune State Park is amazing. You can go check out the Bruno State Park is awesome. You have Box Canyon nearby. You have CJ Strike for those of you that love to take your boats out and you know, ride the water during the summertime. So you do have plenty of options as far as what to do. You also have parks in Mountain Home that you can go check out, and they have a Legacy Park, which is personally my favorite park out of all the ones they have, where you just have a huge lot of green grass. You could take your dogs. They have kind of like a little walking trail outside of the one I was mentioning earlier, where you could take your dogs, and they have a pond with a bunch of ducks. So they have a lot of cool things in Mountain Home that you'll be able to enjoy. Now, another big one is going to be, what is the school education system like in Mountain Home? Well, guys, I personally don't have a kid, but I will say there's a total of 10 schools in Mountain Home, most of them public schools being, they do have a few elementary schools, a few high schools, and then I believe a middle school, and then they do have a base school as well. So as far as options for education or athletics and things, you really don't have much choice or much options, I should say, for where your kids go. Now, that's why some people tend to move to Boise, because they do like having a little bit more of a say of where, what school district their kids attend. West Ada County was the most popular. Based off of test scores last year, they had the highest test scores for English language arts as well as mathematics. So I do recommend, you know, if you are someone that's wanting to be particular about schooling, maybe expanding your search could help you. But I would use your research, use your websites to do that, or just message me directly if you would like some assistance, or I could send you some useful links that could help you in your search. Now, last question we're going to address is going to be cost of living. Cost of living in Mountain Home, Idaho is, when I say perfect, it's absolutely perfect. And the reason why I say perfect is because when you compare Mountain Home to Boise, for example, Boise is going to be significantly expensive. Let's talk about the housing side of things, right? $375 is the median price in Mountain Home. Boise, the median price point is $575,000. So you're looking at a $200,000 difference. You know, you're going to pay for the same 3-bed, 2-bath house, maybe 1,500 square foot. You'd pay another $150,000 in Boise. So when it does come to cost of living, you can see there's just a significant difference in what makes more sense and what is more affordable. Now, I will say Mountain Home has gone more expensive since COVID due to the fact that inflation is a real thing, but you won't necessarily feel it as heavy as people in Boise did, for example, which is why a lot of people actually are relocating from Boise to Mountain Home. So like I said, depending on what you're discussing as far as cost of living, whether it's groceries or gas or even registrations, registration for, you know, a brand new Tesla or brand new SUV or anything of that nature for 2 years, you're probably not going to spend more than $200, $250. So registration is extremely cheaper. Taxes are a lot cheaper. Even utilities for power, water, sewage, and all that stuff for your homes is significantly cheaper. To add in, Idaho as a state as a whole does have lower taxes. So for those of you that are maybe purchasing a property, if you didn't know this, you actually have a homeowner's exemption, which is for people who are living in their home as a primary residence. They will actually knock off $125,000 from the value of the home that they assess. So let's just say the house is worth $425,000. You'll only pay taxes on $300,000 of it. So it's just a really nice incentive. But cost of living in Mountain Home, Idaho is just significantly cheaper, and a lot of people really love it because of that. So with that, what I'm going to ask from you guys, hopefully we covered everything, but if I didn't, make sure you guys drop a comment below as far as some questions you may have for me, or once again, what's going to pop up. I just want to reiterate, I am a licensed real estate agent here in the Mountain Home and surrounding areas. So you'll have my personal cell phone, you'll have my email, and as much as I love making these videos, you can call me, text me, or email me, because I'm a resource to help you guys with your home buying needs or just with your PCS to Mountain Home as a whole. So call me, text me, and if you didn't already, we're going to be making more videos just like this. So do me a favor, like this one below, press the subscribe button, and also press the notification bell at the top of the screen so you can get notified when we make more amazing videos just like this. As always, guys, love you guys. I'll see you on the next one.